am the daughter of a capitalist, and for 3 years, I've been in an arranged marriage with a cold and aloof commander who has never touched me. During a countryside picnic, I went to his tent to spend the night, yet, he frowned and hesitated to take my luggage. Tonight is not the right time. I was taken aback when I suddenly saw the subtitles, LMAO. The male lead's ideal lover has returned, and the female supporting character is still acting like a clown here. Relying on her status as a capitalist's daughter to cling desperately. Does she really think the male lead would like her? Little does the female supporting character know. The cold and aloof male lead actually has an addiction. He'd rather take cold showers for 3 years than touch her, staying celibate for his white moonlight all this time. He's so in love. The female lead's return today just happens to coincide with the expiration of the male lead's arranged marriage contract. After abstaining for so long, imagine how intense their love-hate reunion will be. As for the spoiled rich girl supporting character, she's just throwing tantrums, merely a prop in the main couple's foreplay. I tightened my grip on my luggage and smiled. All right then. I'll find someone else to sleep with tonight. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. What's going on? The female supporting character isn't clinging desperately to the male lead. It's just playing hard to get. How persistent, humph. Let's see if the male lead pays her any attention. Haha, she's a capitalist's spoiled daughter with such a bad background. Who would dare take her in? Sensing the awkward atmosphere, Arthur's comrades quickly chimed in to smooth things over. Don't take it personally, sis. Arthur just has a bit of a cleanliness obsession. He never shakes hands. Even his food has to be served separately, never sharing a plate with others. Yeah, so many leaders were eager to introduce their daughters to him. And there were even girls who shamelessly chased him all the way to our camp. Arthur never once relented. When he suddenly announced his marriage, we all joked that it was like an iron tree blooming. Coincidentally, a few girls came together. How about you stay with them tonight, sister-in-law? I looked at Arthur and said nothing. Arthur wasn't wearing casual clothes. The buttons on his white shirt were neatly fastened all the way to the top. His dark eyes were deep and icy, exuding an aloof and indifferent coldness that seemed unapproachable. He glanced at the ivy beside him, his tone frigid. As you wish. My heart ached as I clenched the hem of my skirt tightly. They're right. Arthur does indeed have mysophobia. He never shares things with others, nor does he ever initiate physical contact with anyone, not even with me. His wife of 3 years, but there are still exceptions. Arthur has mysophobia. I had no idea. Ivy covered her lips, her voice filled with surprise. Her skin was fair, and she was slender and elegant, standing tall like a graceful bamboo, dressed in simple and elegant attire, speaking softly and gently, with refined and delicate manners, just returned from studying abroad, had already been appointed as a translator for foreign liaison, comes from a family of scholars with a solid foundation. And Arthur were childhood sweethearts, a perfect match in social status. She must be the white moonlight heroine mentioned in the subtitles. Ivy blinked her moist, lively eyes and looked apologetically at Arthur. Then was it not very nice of me to borrow so much equipment from you just now? Arthur slightly furrowed his brows, yet he said nothing. This was precisely the era when arranged marriages were being abolished and free love was all the rage. The picnic spot was my mother's hometown. Many people know about the Arthur and my arranged marriage back in the day. The villagers who were having a picnic together saw this. Their gazes towards me instantly became mocking. A wife whose marriage term had expired, publicly rejected by her husband from sharing a tent even when outside. What it means goes without saying. To lighten the mood, someone jokingly suggested, since some people are splitting up to sleep, we don't have enough tents tonight. Let's draw lots to assign tents. Whichever tent you draw, that's the one you sleep in. How about it? Just a heads up, I'm famously known for my midnight thunder. No takebacks if you draw me. Come on, count me in. Who else is joining? The men responded with laughter. They didn't really consider having the female comrades participate. Among the group, apart from 2 married couples, there were only me and Ivy as the 2 girls. I was Arthur publicly driven away, nor did I want to share a tent with Ivy, biting my lip. I raised my hand. I'll join too. The surroundings fell into complete silence. Arthur suddenly turned to look at me, his gaze as cold as ice, his jawline tensed, his voice dark and low. Frida, stop messing around. He must be angry that I made him lose face. Even if it's a woman he doesn't like, even if he just publicly dismissed her, a man cannot tolerate his wife publicly cuckolding him. I pursed my lips, refusing to look at him. Arthur's comrade smoothed things over. Sister-in-law. You're a woman, this isn't really. I curved my lips into a proper smile. The voice was soft, neither submissive nor arrogant, since it's because of me that the original tense aren't enough to go around. I can't very well just sit back and enjoy the benefits. We're all comrades here. When conditions are tough, we shouldn't create special privileges. Spending one night together won't hurt anyone. I am the eldest daughter of the Chapman family. Was rejected by her husband of 3 years in a political marriage, yet she would never abandon her pride. Her words left everyone present utterly convinced. All praised her as a woman who rivaled men in capability. Ivy's gaze lingered on Arthur for a moment before she also raised her hand. Her face flushed. If even my sister-in-law says so, then as the interpreter, I certainly can't be an exception. Amidst the chorus of agreement, Arthur stared at me intently. His voice low, I'll join in too. The subtitles instantly exploded. Here it comes. This is the part where the male and female leads draw a tent assignment, and the male lead's addiction can't hold back anymore. What follows is just too spicy. The female supporting character is clearly a married woman, yet she still raises her hand to participate. She just wants to make the male lead jealous, right? And she says it so righteously. How laughable. Do you see the male lead paying her any attention? He only agreed because our precious female lead joined in, didn't he? The supporting female character is about to lose it when she can't draw the male lead's name, throws a tantrum in public, forces the female lead to swap with her. But the male lead directly refuses on behalf of the female lead. So sweet, the supporting female even tries to pull the female lead's hair in a fit, but gets pushed to the ground after the male lead intervenes. So satisfying. What era does she think this is? Still believing arranged marriage makes her the rightful wife. Our female lead is the male lead's true destined love. His longtime white moonlight. Later, the supporting female refuses to divorce at all costs, even threatens the couple with the male lead's career, causing misunderstandings and heartbreak for the female lead. Thankfully, the male lead stands up for her, bankrupting the supporting female's family. She then tries to kidnap the female lead, only to end up tortured to death by the kidnappers. Serves her right. I felt icy cold all over, unwilling to believe it, yet my heart skipped a beat. I don't know if these subtitles are telling the truth or not, but if those things weren't done, it wouldn't prevent them from being together. Just obediently divorce Arthur. Would those terrible things not have happened then? The lottery results came out quickly. Those who draw the same number will share a tent tonight. No takebacks. Everyone revealed their numbers. Sure enough, Arthur and Ivy had drawn matching numbers. Many present were aware of their history. Although they didn't voice their teasing, they still wore an expression of eager anticipation for the drama. Ivy blushed, looking at Arthur with a shy and timid gaze. Is this really appropriate? Maybe I should switch places with your sister-in-law. Arthur frowned slightly between his brows. His gaze at me was dark and profound, brimming with warning. Subtitles also flashed. The female lead is truly elegant and magnanimous, beautiful inside and out. To spare the male lead from embarrassment, she even took the initiative to suggest swapping lots. Unlike some people who are about to lose their composure and throw a tantrum, LOL. Might as well just announce the supporting female character's ID number. But the male lead is even more anxious than her. The moment he hears the female lead's baby wants to change their match, his back stiffens up, terrified the baby might be taken by another man. Ah, I'm totally shipping them. I'm so done with the supporting female character. She was clearly rejected from the start, yet she still insists on drawing a match out of spite. I cringed so hard for her, met with Arthur's urgent gaze. My heart ached with bitterness. The knuckles of the fingers holding the slip turned white. Not wanting to embarrass myself further, I forced a smile and said, no need, let's just go with what was drawn. The person who drew the same number as me happened to be my childhood friend from back home, Bruce. When we were children, we were even betrothed to each other. After marriage, we gradually grew apart. I took the initiative to sit beside him, shoulder to shoulder. Suppressing the bitterness in my heart, I avoided looking at Arthur. Reaching out to place a hand on Bruce's arm, I forced a composed smile at him. Tonight, I'll be counting on you. Bruce stiffened all over. He tried to withdraw his hand but noticed my slightly reddened eyes. In the end, she still didn't move. The entire room fell silent. Even the subtitles were shocked. What's going on? The female supporting character actually didn't throw a tantrum. Then how is the male lead supposed to teach her a lesson, stand up for the female lead, and start their sweet romance? Does the female supporting character really think hooking up with her ex will make the male lead jealous? LOL. Look, does the male lead even care? This just makes her look like she's openly cheating and lacks virtue. Her morals are seriously twisted. The comment above talking about morals is kinda funny. Aren't you guys shipping the male and female leads who are also having an affair? How is that the same? The male and female leads are the official couple in a free love story. What's the female supporting character? Just a clown who stole someone else's spot. A leftover from arranged marriages. Once the male lead divorces her tonight as per the contract, what's left for her? So disgusting, flaunting her ex-fiancé in public. What man could tolerate such humiliation? Just wait for the male lead's revenge. Arthur clenched his slender hand into a fist, his knuckles turning white. His voice was deep and magnetic. There was a faint hint of threat beneath the calm. My wife is drunk, so there's no need to trouble Mr. Bruce. I apologize on her behalf to Mr. Bruce. Please let Mr. Bruce exchange the drawn lot with me. I looked up in astonishment, directly meeting Arthur's gloomy gaze. His dark pupils seemed to contain suppressed storms. The air was thick with the oppressive tension of an impending storm. I've never seen Arthur like this before. He seemed absolutely furious. Even his usual aloof facade was on the verge of crumbling. Thinking about what those subtitles just said, I dare not imagine what would happen if caught by him. Subconsciously pressed closer to Bruce, pursing lips, trying hard to steady the voice while explaining, "No thanks, I don't drink." Arthur looked at us with increasingly gloomy eyes. He took a deep breath. But his voice grew even softer, like a venomous snake hissing and luring its prey. "Frida, come here, be a good girl." The people around noticed the tense atmosphere. They all tried to mediate. "Sis-in-law, Arthur knows he was wrong. Don't be angry anymore. What couple has any reason to sleep apart? We were just fooling around. It wouldn't be good if we really hurt our friendship. Arthur and Ivy haven't seen each other for so long, even if they were old classmates. Whatever might have happened is in the past now. Sister-in-law, please don't overthink it." Ivy also smiled bitterly. "Yes, sister-in-law, no matter who Arthur has in his heart, his wife now is you. Sister-in-law, if you keep clinging to Mr. Bruce like this." I froze in place. I only felt utterly humiliated. The subtitles were also going wild with criticism. That damn supporting female character, so ungrateful. She just had to publicly cuckold the male lead and humiliate him. Why does the male lead have to take the initiative to change the arrangement? Wouldn't it be better to just send him and the female lead straight to the wedding chamber? I'm a premium VIP member. Can we speed up the spicy scenes already? The male lead is probably worried the female lead can't handle it. He's already got an addiction, and after holding back for so many years, I can't even imagine how intense it'll be. It's gonna be a wild, pounding session. What if he accidentally hurts or breaks her? It's understandable he'd vent some steam with the supporting female first. True, the female lead is back now anyway, and the male lead is about to divorce the supporting female. Might as well make the most of her one last time. Besides, didn't the supporting female always cling to the male lead, begging for it? Now she's latched onto her ex again. Such a pick-me girl obsessed with men. Nothing like our independent and dignified Weiwei. Exactly, she was always throwing herself at him before, so why act all innocent now? Can't she see the male lead hasn't even showered today and is barely holding back? I looked up. Just happened to see Ivy sit down beside Arthur, asking with warm concern. Arthur's usually pale complexion flushed slightly. The veins on the back of his clenched hand stood out. His Adam's apple bobbed as if suppressing something, meeting his burning gaze. I lowered my head as if struck by electricity, barely holding back the tears in my eyes. 3 years of marriage, Arthur has always been a dutiful husband. He's courteous and takes good care of me. Yet no matter how hard I try to close the distance between us, he never once reaches out to touch me. I had never been made aware of his addiction issues, but today, just because Ivy returned, he was determined to come out for the meeting at all costs. Because he feared hurting the cherished white moonlight in his heart for so many years, just want to use me to vent. My heart feels torn apart, bleeding profusely. I dare not imagine the consequences of being caught by him. So sad and scared that I just want to escape. I took a deep breath, struggled to calm my emotions, smiled lightly. I didn't think much of it. Speaking of which, Bruce and I go way back. When we were kids, our elders even jokingly arranged a marriage between us. Since Mr. Arthur doesn't wish to share a tent with his wife, I can just make do with my childhood friend for the night. No need for anyone to overthink it. The surroundings were so quiet that only the chirping of insects remained. Everyone was looking at me and Arthur. Too scared to speak, Arthur stared at me with a sinister gaze. His voice was hoarse and dangerous. "Frida, stop messing around." My whole body tensed up. My fingers tightened around Bruce's sleeve. Frida already told me she wasn't feeling well and wanted to rest early. Mr. Arthur, Whatever you have to say, it can wait until tomorrow. Bruce stepped sideways to shield me, smiling at him. Frida grew up with me since childhood. If Mr. Arthur treats her poorly, I won't be able to sit still. Arthur's expression seemed to darken further. Bruce stepped in to help me out of the awkward situation. My house is nearby, since there aren't enough tents to go around. Why don't I take Frida back with me for the night? My mother hasn't seen Frida in a long time and keeps mentioning her. She'll surely be delighted to see her. Frida and I will just pack our things and go home together. This arrangement was perfectly reasonable. No one raised any further objections, only Arthur remained silent, his eyes dark and lips pressed tightly together, knuckles turned white from the clenched fist, veins bulging on the back of the hand. I didn't look at him again. Felt both gratitude and guilt toward Bruce, whispered a thank you, take the car keys, turn around to get the luggage from the car. The car is parked on an open space some distance away from the picnic site. Wait until no one is in sight anymore. The tears I had been holding back finally fell, sniffling. I slowly found the car I came in. Just as I opened the passenger door, an arm reached from behind me and held the door open. Bang! I slammed the car door shut with force. I froze in fright. Then I heard a gloomy and icy voice, almost brushing against my ear as it spoke. Frida, why did you go home with him? It was Arthur's voice. Earlier, when we were about to draw lots, were you also planning to leave me behind to be with him? I was trembling with anger, feeling nothing but absurdity. I pushed him away with force, struggling to preserve the last shred of dignity, suppressing the heat in my eyes. My voice turned icy cold. Arthur, what does this have to do with you? You were the one who rejected me, so what right do you have to interfere now? Plenty of people like me. Why can't I find someone else? Arthur's Adam's apple bobbed slightly, his jaw tensed, his gaze fixed on me as if he wanted to devour me whole. A low voice carried a hint of uncontrollable fervor. Frida, don't forget, you're my wife now. I curled my lips into a self-deprecating smile. Arthur, you're the one who forgot. The 3-year marriage term is already up. I'm tired. No one thinks about how it feels to live a lifetime without having these feelings reciprocated. Let's part on good terms. Arthur's pupils suddenly constricted. Blue veins surfaced on his cold, pale neck that was tinged with red. His towering figure pressed close, radiating an undeniable heat, completely trapping me within his shadow. His deep, dark eyes locked onto me like a starving wolf fixated on its prey. His hoarse voice was both obsessive and restless. Frida, don't you dare. 3 years of marriage, we've never been this close before. His breath almost brushed against my lips. My heart is pounding, nervous, and at a loss. My whole body feels weak. I want to run away. She bit her lip, forcing herself to raise her head and meet his gaze. Arthur, what are you doing now? Is it because I rejected you in public, making you lose face, that you now want to force me? Arthur felt his breath catch. The imposing aura immediately diminished somewhat. A trace of panic actually surfaced in those usually calm eyes. Shoulders and arms went slack, dropped the head. The scorching breath fell on the side of my neck, the voice full of grievance. Frida, I'm not. A sudden scream came from not far away. Ivy knelt on the ground, frowning as she clutched her foot. Her eyes were red, biting her lip. She apologized softly. I'm sorry for disturbing you. I came to get something, but I accidentally twisted my ankle. She said so. Yet her gaze lingered on Arthur, shy and hesitant, as if wanting to speak but holding back. Suddenly, I felt utterly bored, pushed open with force. Arthur, go on. She's almost crying. Arthur's face darkened. Frida, what do you mean by this? I smirked mockingly. The poor girl came all the way here alone at night, and she's even injured. Don't break her heart any further. With that, I picked up my things, barged past Arthur and strode away. Arthur wanted to chase after. But was Ivy tugging at his sleeve? Her voice called out to him plaintively. Arthur, it hurts so much. In the end, they didn't chase after her. The subtitles went wild with excitement. Brilliant, simply brilliant. Even if the supporting female character deviates from the plot, the male and female leads are destined to embark on a sweet romance. The female supporting character wouldn't really think the male lead came to stop her from leaving, would she? It's just the plot correcting itself. Now she's dumbfounded, isn't she? Exactly. Luckily, our female lead is as sharp as a tack. A baby who takes the initiative to pursue love is seriously brave. An inevitable pang of heartache struck, empty, hollow, but I still raised my head, straightened my back, and walked steadily and gracefully. I warned myself in my heart. Frida, keep moving forward, don't look back. I don't know how long I walked. A clear and bright voice came with the wind. Why did it take so long? Bruce has a clean shirt. His eyes and brows were gentle. Just like the neighbor's older brother I remember who always took care of me, he reached out and took the luggage from my hands, handed me a neatly folded handkerchief, but asked nothing. Only then did I realize, unbeknownst to me, my face had long been wet with tears. A 3-year marriage with Arthur. It always seems like a one-man show of my own. On our wedding night, after hosting the banquet, he received an urgent mission and left in a hurry. As a commander, he was often away from home. We spent far more time apart than together. Even so, I never gave up on this marriage. Handsome looks, a cold and abstinent demeanor, and an excellent family background. I once blushed and felt my heart race at the thought of being married to such a husband. For 3 years, every time Arthur came home, I would try hard to find topics to talk about, but his responses were always lukewarm. I tried to imitate the way couples and lovers interact, clumsily writing letters to him, yet all I received were his brief, fragmented words, along with the subsidy distributed by the team. But what I want was never any of these. Sleepless nights, dressed lightly, carefully adorned. I took the initiative to push open his door. His eyes darkened with intensity, his jaw tightened as he pushed me away. Miss Frida, please behave with dignity. Don't do anything you'll regret. With reddened eyes, I stormed out the door, only feeling endless humiliation. Do I regret it? Yes, I truly do. I regret stepping into this arranged marriage in ignorant naivety. I regret these 3 years of foolishly expecting and trying to please with unrequited enthusiasm. I don't want to continue like this anymore. It's not because of Ivy, not because of those subtitles, but because, truly weary, Bruce walked ahead without turning back. A gentle voice came with the wind. Frida, do you remember our college days? Back then, your grades were excellent. I smiled bitterly. That's all in the past now. Before marriage, I was a student at University A. Bruce was my senior, but after marriage, according to regulations, I could no longer attend university. The day I submitted my leave of absence application, Bruce stood under the shade of the tree, rarely without a smile. He pressed his lips together and asked me, Frida, are you really sure about this? To say there's no regret would be impossible, but I just smiled faintly. I am the eldest daughter of the Chapman family, and the Chapman family has a bad background. This marriage alliance is good for everyone. Bruce tightened his grip on the book in his hand. Something surged in his eyes, then quickly faded away. The voice alone was hoarse. And what about you? Is this really okay? I can no longer remember how I answered, but Bruce's reply was, as always, the same. Under the bright moonlight, he said softly, Frida, if one day you regret it, you can come back and continue your studies. I'll help you re-enroll. 3 years ago, I still held on to illusions. I just smiled and shook my head, but now, I don't want to sink any deeper. I wiped away my tears and answered firmly, I want to go back, to continue my studies. After Bruce's mother and I reminisced, Bruce handed me a slightly yellowed application for returning to school. It seemed to have been kept for some years. He was already a graduate student at University A. He had returned to his hometown during the summer vacation. Let me know carefully how to fill it out later. A hint of laughter also colored the voice. Professor Lee will be very happy to know you've returned to school. He always says you're the most talented student he's ever taught. We chatted about some old university memories. The conversation was lively and cheerful. Bruce noticed the smile on my face and whispered, if I had known you weren't doing well, I shouldn't have said those things back then. They were just childish jokes. He didn't say it outright, but I understood. That year when I got admitted to University A, I returned to my hometown with my mother. Many villagers knew our two families were close and that we had been betrothed since childhood. At the banquet, they teased that Bruce and I, both top students at University A, were a match made in heaven. How smart the child they would have must be. Bruce looked at the person, frowning slightly. He said seriously, it was just a childhood joke after all. Frida's talent shouldn't be trapped by marriage. He didn't want to become the shackles that bound my future, yet in the end, it was marriage that cost me my education. So now he says, if I had held on to our engagement back then, perhaps you would have completed your studies long ago, without such wasted years. My heart trembled. I gazed into his serene eyes, like a hazy mountain moon, dissolving with time, concealing deep affection. Suddenly, from outside came Bruce's mom's voice, Frida, someone's looking for you. I came out with Bruce. Then I ran into Arthur in the courtyard. He saw us coming out of the same room. Arthur's already cold expression darkened even further. The emotions swirling in his dark eyes were so intense they seemed to dissolve into the night. He clenched his fists, veins bulging on the back of his hands. His voice was hoarse and restrained. Frida, be good, stop sulking and come back with me. I never expected Arthur to actually chase after me, Those subtitles were also indignant. Why is the male lead chasing after her? She's just a supporting female character. Shouldn't the male lead be staying by our sweet daughter's side? She's injured. It's all the supporting female character's fault for not following the plot properly, after all. They're not divorced yet, so the male lead has no choice but to chase after her. Don't worry, everyone, our sweet Vivian is as clever as ice and snow. Of course, her sprained ankle was just an act. It's all because the supporting female character is too good at stirring up trouble, playing hard to get and dragging the male lead along. But the male lead didn't carry our precious girl back in his arms just now. He just found another girl to help her walk. Boo. He deserves to be punished by having to carry our darling daughter in his arms every day from now on. The male lead must be afraid he couldn't control himself, otherwise, why wouldn't he even dare to touch the female lead and still insist on going after the supporting female character? I sneered in my heart. It just seemed ridiculous. Go back where? We only came back because the tent couldn't fit us all. Why should we go back? Arthur pressed his lips together. The corners of his eyes were flushed red, revealing a trace of desolation. His voice softened as well. Just now, it was my fault for not considering your dignity in public, but after all, you are my wife. This is inappropriate. Living with him is inappropriate. Not living with him is also inappropriate. In his heart, what exactly is appropriate? I was so angry at him that I laughed. Arthur, our wedding date has arrived. From now on, I am no longer your wife. Arthur shuddered all over, his face stiff. Wanting to say more, Bruce took the initiative to speak. It's very late. Frida's luggage has already been settled. Mr. Arthur, please leave now. Arthur clenched his jaw, thoroughly angered. He couldn't help but take a step forward. An intimidating aura radiated from his entire body. His deep voice was gloomy and icy, like the final calm before a storm. Mr. Bruce, in what capacity are you interfering in matters between my wife and me? The atmosphere was tense as drawn swords. I don't want to implicate Bruce, nor do I want to tarnish his reputation. I stood in front of Bruce. Arthur, Bruce is like an older brother to me. We grew up together. You humiliated me in public. And you expect him not to stand up for me. Frida, am not someone you can summon and dismiss as you please. I won't go back with you. Just leave. Arthur's arrogance was instantly extinguished, eyes brimming with tears. Looking at me in disbelief, voice hoarse, nervous and at a loss, as if abandoned. Frida, you're driving me away for his sake. After all, we're still husband and wife. Arthur didn't go back. Bruce's mom left the guest room for us. Bruce brought another set of bedding. There seemed to be something in his eyes, hidden too deep. For too long, in the end, it only turned into a hoarse sigh. Frida, if he bullies you, just call for me. I nodded. A warm feeling seeped from the depths of my heart. My eyes actually grew slightly moist. Arthur returned from his shower. I've already prepared the re-enrollment application. Those subtitles are buzzing with comments. So annoying. Why hasn't the supporting female character left yet? I really don't want to see this kind of plot. If it weren't for worrying about scaring the female lead. The male lead wouldn't have come to spend the night with the supporting female character. My heart aches for our female lead baby. She's clearly the white moonlight. But when she went abroad for further studies, the supporting female character stole her chance. No kidding. If it weren't for this arranged marriage getting in the way, the moment the male and female leads reunited, sparks would have flown instantly. What role would the supporting female character even have then? I glanced over indifferently, getting in the way. If we're talking about delays, haven't I been held back by this marriage as well? An undeniable warmth emanated from beside me. Arthur had somehow moved closer. Frida, we need to talk. He ignored me. His tone was helpless. Tonight was my fault, but marriage isn't child's play. Please stop giving me the cold shoulder. Okay, my voice was calm. Arthur, I'm not being stubborn. He was silent for a moment, because of what happened tonight. Or what they said. I said softly, Arthur, sometimes I really feel that in your life. Perhaps I'm the unnecessary one. Without me, you'd meet someone more suitable for you. Someone better. His voice suddenly became somewhat urgent. Frida, there's nothing between Ivy and me. Yes, I knew she had returned to the country, but I really haven't seen her, nor did I know she would come together today. I shook my head. It doesn't matter anymore, even without her. We never really seemed like a couple. I can also understand your duties, which keep us apart more often than not, but every time I wrote you pages of letters, your replies were always just a few short lines. Every time you came home, no matter what I said, you never wanted to talk to me more. There were even nights when I set aside my dignity and tried to get close to you, but you just pushed me away. coldly telling me to have some self-respect. After so long, I no longer want to, nor dare to, get close to you again, Arthur. These 3 years of marriage with you have been too exhausting, too bitter. I don't want you anymore. Arthur's arm suddenly braced against my side. His chest was heaving violently. The corners of the eyes were flushed crimson. The voice carried an unprecedented urgency and loss of control. No, Frida. Every time I received your letters in the team, I would carefully keep them and read them when alone, but I didn't know what to say to you. So I could only send all my subsidies to you, hoping to make your life a little easier. I know, you are the eldest daughter of the Chapman family, and lack nothing, but ours is a marriage of alliance. I knew you had been previously betrothed and feared you might be unwilling to marry me, let alone endure any hardship. As for last night, it was all my fault. He pressed his lips together, hesitating to speak further. I watched him quietly, slowly began to speak. Arthur. There are some words that haven't been said in 3 years of marriage. Now, there's no need to say them anymore. Arthur's body stiffened, looked up at me in disbelief, voice hoarse and trembling. Frida, don't say things in anger. Didn't wait for my reply. He quickly got up and left the bedroom, only tossing out a single sentence. Rest well. We'll talk more when we get home. Help. Why is the male lead trying so hard to win back the supporting female character? What about our precious female lead? Is the male lead blind? Just wait till he's chasing his wife into the crematorium. LOL. Isn't the male lead already burning in the crematorium, even though he's chasing the supporting female character? Considering what she just said, this marriage is truly a waste of life, isn't it? Because the supporting female character's family background is problematic that she's desperately clinging to the male lead. She brought this on herself. I glanced at the subtitles. Brought it on herself. Perhaps so, but from now on, never again. Arthur spent the night in the living room, left very early. He joined the team outing with a mission to conduct field research for 2 full days. He worked alongside his comrades to complete the tasks. He took care of everything personally, even more dedicated to his duties than anyone else. He would carry things for me in his spare time, clumsily bringing some snacks and trinkets to please me. When he saw Bruce talking to me, he would deliberately step in to separate us, yet, he never brought up the topic of that night again. I know, he is waiting for the task to end, then returning home, everything will return to how it was. But he was wrong. The day the picnic ended, I had one last lunch with them. After the meal, everyone packed their luggage and got into the car. I stood where I was, unmoving. Ivy bumped into me as she passed by. Oh dear, sister-in-law, why are you standing here alone? Don't tell me you're leaving all the cleaning to Arthur by himself. Her voice wasn't quiet. The people around also turned to look. Ivy, her voice was gentle and intellectual, yet her eyes carried a hint of disdain. Sister-in-law, even if you're the young mistress, you can't just neglect household duties after marriage, can you? A girl who doesn't work hard or study, choosing instead to marry and become a housewife, is already taking a shortcut. If she can't even handle these household chores properly and still flirts with other men, she might end up losing even the title of Mrs. Fu. No one around spoke, clearly quite in agreement. Those subtitles also chimed in one after another. The female lead's clapback was so satisfying. Truly a queen of the new era. This is the kind of queen energy I'm here for. I've been sick of those damsel in distress tropes forever. Always crying and relying on men. How obsessed with men can some women be? Disgusting. I second that. The world has suffered enough from the spoiled wife trope. The female lead is truly a breath of fresh air. What's the use of groveling like the supporting female character? Only by being strong and loving yourself are you worthy of the best love. I don't feel ashamed at all, just looking at her. I spoke calmly. Ivy, do you think that just because you've studied abroad and now work as a translation liaison, you can look down on us women who've married and settled down? Under the surrounding gaze, Ivy seemed a bit guilty when questioned by me. I didn't mean it that way. It's just that women of our new era should be self-reliant and independent, living our own lives, not constantly thinking about clinging to men, enjoying the fruits without labor after marriage, only revolving around men and household chores, let alone the arranged marriages and so-called young ladies of the feudal old days. Is that so? I smiled faintly. Did you know, before marrying Arthur, I was also a student at University A. Do you think being able to work and study makes you superior to other women in this world? Ivy grew impatient, her tone becoming aggressive. Then didn't you all still choose to marry and rely on men, rather than being independent and relying on yourselves? I looked at her and said earnestly, you're wrong. Marriage has never been about one person relying on another. If men only needed to work outside, Why would they need marriage or matchmaking? Insisting on having a wife to manage household chores at home, marriage is inherently an equal relationship of mutual dependence and respect. It's just that the world is too harsh on us women. Once married, women are forced to abandon their studies, careers, and futures, never given a choice, while men are never subjected to such demands. How can you blame or look down on all the women who are bound and confined because of these unfair rules? Ivy turned pale, her lips trembled, and it took her a long time to finally utter a sentence. That was your own insistence on getting married. I curled my lips into a faint smile. Ivy. You're so concerned about my marriage with Arthur, but is it really me you care about? You accuse me of being involved with others, yet aren't you the one trying to meddle in someone else's marriage? Ivy's face turned crimson, tears welled up in her eyes. On the verge of tears, what happened? Arthur finished inspecting the car and came over to ask. Ivy's tears immediately fell. Arthur, I just gave sister-in-law a few words of advice, and she accused me of trying to ruin your marriage. She staggered and collapsed into Arthur. Arthur supported her arm, his brow furrowed tightly. The subtitles also started to complain. I'm so pissed off. Who does she think she is? Just a spoiled, entitled wife. And she dares to lecture our strong female lead with her nonsense. Luckily, the male lead arrived just in time. Now the supporting female character is in for a good scolding from him. Am I the only one who thinks the female lead actually makes a lot of sense? Why is it that in marriage, women are always expected to give and sacrifice, while men get all the benefits but are absent when it comes to responsibilities? I've held it in long enough. Can you all stop being such phonies? It's bad enough that phony authors write phony stories, but then I have to put up with your phony barrage comments every day. The male lead has an avoidant personality, only knows how to give the cold shoulder, and is utterly incapable of love. He shackled the female supporting character in a marriage for 3 years. The only decent thing he did was not having children, or it would have been another broken family with absentee parenting. I second that. At first, I just wanted to see the sweet romance between the male and female leads, but after hearing the conversation between the female supporting character and the female lead just now, as a woman myself, it really brought tears to my eyes. Now all I want is for countless women like the supporting character to break free from their shackles and reclaim their own lives. Arthur pinched the bridge of his nose. He looked utterly exhausted. His voice pleaded with me helplessly. Frida, stop this. There's really nothing between Ivy and me. What will it take for you to believe me? I only found it absurd, from beginning to end. As long as I am Mrs. Vafu, no matter what I say, it always comes across as unreasonable, jealous, or petty. I take a deep breath. My voice is soft, yet firm. Actually, you're right. My marriage with Arthur, which seems futile and backward in your eyes, also forced me to abandon my studies at University A, losing my own future. So now, I regret it. You just asked me why I don't pack my luggage or handle household chores, because I have no luggage to pack, and no more household chores to handle. I looked up and gazed intently at Arthur. Arthur, I won't be going back anymore. Arthur instinctively pushed Ivy away. The voice was urgent and panicked. Frida, what do you mean by this? Is it because of that Bruce? What exactly do I lack compared to him? The people around noticed the awkward atmosphere. They quietly retreated. Each went about their own business. Ivy was also pulled away by the wife of another comrade. Come on, let's go. Why are you meddling in a young couple's affairs? Only Arthur and I remained. Arthur took a step closer, trapping me in his shadow. Frida, whatever he can give you, I can give you too. I know I've neglected your feelings before, but I promise I'll come home to spend time with you more often from now on, fulfilling all the responsibilities a husband should. Frida, give me one more chance. Don't leave, please. He hung his head, his voice almost pleading. The usually aloof Commander Arthur had never shown such vulnerability before, but I just shook my head lightly. Arthur, I gave you chances. You know what? I didn't have to marry you either. I once had feelings for you, and marrying you made me give up my studies at a university, willingly becoming your Mrs. The Fu. In 3 years, we had many opportunities to make this marriage work, but you ignored me, avoided me, no matter how hard I tried to get close to you. You refused to communicate, lost in your own misunderstandings and assumptions. Your insecurity, cowardice, and avoidance are no excuse for wasting 3 years of my life. Arthur, not everyone will wait for you forever. How many 3-year stretches do we get in the prime of our lives? I no longer want to be that Mrs. Fu who's always waiting for you to turn back. Let's end it here. Perhaps it was the sudden premonition of loss that finally surfaced. Arthur remained rigid. stubbornly holding on. I don't agree to the divorce, Frida. If it weren't you, I would never have agreed to this arranged marriage in the first place. I cut him off. You just never told me. Is that it? Arthur looked at me in astonishment, wanting to say more, but then came the hesitant voice of a comrade behind me. Arthur, everything's packed, everyone's on board. If we're any later, we'll miss the scheduled return time. What do you think? Arthur stood still, didn't move. I said, go ahead, you have your duties and future, and I just want to reclaim mine. Before marriage, we signed a divorce agreement in advance. I'll have someone fetch it, everyone knows. Only after the divorce can I return to University A to continue my studies. Arthur clenched his fists, his eyes turning red. Frida, after you finish your studies, we can also. I shook my head. Forget it, you always have endless missions, and I will return to University A to start my life anew. Like two straight lines heading in different directions, after a brief intersection, they are destined to part ways, never to meet again. Finally, Arthur could only leave. His figure looked dejected, it even showed a touch of loneliness. That's it. Walked out of my life. After returning to school, the coursework was busy and intense. I no longer follow Arthur's messages, but this time, it was he who took the initiative to send the letter. The envelope always contained the subsidies issued by the team. The letters were no longer brief. Instead, he racked his brains to fill several pages, just like in my younger days. But I won't look back anymore, only entrusted to someone familiar with both our families, returning every last bit. It was the season when the autumn heat still raged fiercely. I stepped out of the shade, once again bathed in University A's sunlight. Below the teaching building, a tall figure stood gracefully, facing the gentle breeze, quietly waiting for me. The sunlight spills across the broad road beneath my feet. I run toward him, and toward a future that belongs to me, the end dash.